Welcome to the Stoic Tide. Some people move through life like closed books. Their voice says one thing, their eyes say another, and their actions tell a story you were never meant to read. You try to understand them, try to sense their intentions, but their truth feels locked behind quiet walls. Yet the mind is never truly silent. It reveals itself in small cracks. The way someone reacts under pressure, the values that slip out during simple conversations, the fears hidden behind confident words, the dreams buried under hesitation. You don't need force to understand someone. You simply need the right doorway. Stoicism teaches that human nature isn't a puzzle. It is a pattern. A person repeats who they are even when they notice it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, meaning watch the thoughts and you understand the person. The right question invites those thoughts to rise to the surface, not to expose someone, but to understand them, not to control them, but to move wisely around them. When a question is crafted with clarity and intention, people don't guard themselves. They answer from instinct, from habit, from the place where their real beliefs live. And in that moment, a quiet truth appears. Not dramatic, not loud, but unmistakably honest. Some minds reveal caution, some are evil hunger, some reveal tenderness, some reveal storms. And some minds reveal the kind of peace that changes the way you breathe when you're around them. Reading someone's mind is not about decoding secrets. It's about noticing where their attention goes, where their values point, and what their heart protects without ever needing to say the words out loud. One question can show you whether they run from accountability. Another can show whether they grow from adversity. Another can show whether they honor themselves enough to honor you. But you don't need dozens of questions. You don't need complicated psychology. You need 5 questions that open windows instead of walls. Questions that make a person reveal what they stand for, what they fear, what they hope for, and what they avoid. These questions don't demand truth. They invite it. And when people speak from that unguarded place, something remarkable happens. You stop trying to guess their intentions and you start seeing them clearly. No masks, no performances, no confusion. Stoicism teaches that clarity is protection. When you understand someone's nature, you no longer attach yourself to illusions. You no longer fall for mixed signals. You no longer invest your heart into uncertainty. You begin to walk with steadiness, not because people are predictable, but because your understanding becomes stronger than your doubt. Some people are kind only when life is easy. Some hold their calm only until discomfort appears. Some speak of loyalty but never practice it. Some claim strength but crumble at the first challenge. Some talk about love but cannot sit with honesty. These 5 questions will show you which kind of person stands in front of you, not by force, not by pressure, simply by allowing them to show themselves. So, as we begin, stay present, stay open, stay willing to listen between the lines. Because once you learn how to ask with intention, you will never again wonder who someone truly is. You will see it unfold naturally, effortlessly, and unmistakably. Now, let's begin. Question 1. What do you feel you're running from? A person's truth is never hidden in what they show you. It's hidden in what they avoid. And there is no question more revealing than this one. When you ask, what do you feel you're running from? You're not accusing them. You're inviting them to speak from the deepest layer of their mind, the layer most people never touch. Everyone runs from something. Some run from old wounds. Some run from responsibility. Some run from their own potential because success scares them more than failure. And some run from the truth of who they are when nobody is watching. This question opens a doorway into a person's inner patterns. It tells you what they fear, what haunts them, and what they haven't healed. Stoics believe that a person's freedom begins when they stop fleeing from their inner storms. Epictetus said, "No person is free who is not master of themselves." When someone answers this question honestly, you will understand exactly how much mastery they hold or how much they still avoid. Listen closely to how they respond. If they answer with clarity, they have self-awareness. If they hesitate, there's something they haven't faced. If they joke to escape the depth, they fear vulnerability. If they get defensive, they are still protecting old pain. This question is powerful because it reveals how people deal with struggle. Not the struggle they show, but the struggle they hide. Some will tell you they're running from disappointment. which means they've been let down many times. Some will say they are running from people, which means trust has been broken in their story. Some will admit they're running from their own mind, which means they battle thoughts they do not yet understand. And some will say they're not running from anything, which often means they're running the fastest. When someone shares truth about what they're running from, you begin to understand their emotional world. Are they escaping accountably? Are they escaping effort? Are they escaping healing? Or are they escaping the version of themselves they want to outgrow, but don't know how? A person's answer shows you whether they face life or hide from it. It shows you whether they deal with challenges with strength or avoidance. It shows you whether they're moving toward growth or circling the same emotional patterns over and over. This is important because relationships, friendships, partnerships, family are shaped by how people face themselves. Someone who runs from their emotions will distance themselves without explanation. Someone who runs from responsibility breaks promises. Someone who runs from healing will repeat the same harm. Someone who runs from conflict will leave you confused and unsupported. Someone who runs from truth will never build something real with you. But someone who confronts what they fear becomes steady, grounded, reliable, capable of love that is patient and understanding, capable of honesty that doesn't collapse when things get hard. And you deserve to know which type of person stands in front of you. When you ask this question, you're not trying to expose someone. You're trying to understand their landscape, the emotional terrain they come from, so you know how to walk with them, so you know whether to walk with them at all. The beauty of this question is that it brings clarity without confrontation. It brings honesty without force. It brings truth without pressure, because a person can only answer from the level of awareness they currently have. And if their answer feels shallow, if it feels disconnected, if it feels like they're hiding behind words, then that's still an answer. Stoicism teaches that understanding others begins with accepting what they reveal without twisting it into what you hope it means. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the truth of what is given." When someone answers this question, listen with that mindset. Hear their truth. Don't decorate it. Don't excuse it. Don't rearrange it. Their answer shows you the road they walk. Now you know whether their road aligns with yours. Think deeply about what you notice in others and yourself. Let this awareness guide your actions and type it below to claim it. I see the truth. Question 2. What do you do when your feelings and your values disagree? A person's mind becomes visible in the way they handle inner conflict, not the arguments they have with others. Those are easy to hide behind. But the arguments they have with themselves, the quiet ones, the ones that pull them into different directions, what they feel in the moment and what they believe is right. When you ask someone, what do you do when your feelings and your values disagree? You're asking them to show you their moral backbone, their self-control, their emotional maturity, their ability to stay grounded even when their inner world feels chaotic. Most people feel their emotions more loudly than their principles. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Emotions are visitors. Values are home. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thoughtful about your devotion to what is right. This question exposes whether a person stands on that kind of integrity or whether they abandon their values the moment feelings become inconvenient. Listen closely to their answer, because this question doesn't reveal surface truths. It reveals the structure of a person's character. Some people will say they follow their feelings. If so, understand this. They will act out of impulses. They will break promises if emotions shift. They will love you passionately one day and distance themselves the next. Not because they are bad people, but because of their feelings drive them more than commitment does. Some people will say they suppress their feelings to follow values. This reveals discipline, yes, but you also need to see whether they practice emotional numbness instead of emotional intelligence. Because suppression can create quiet storms that grow into bigger problems later. And some people will tell you they pause, they slow down, they breathe. They ask themselves which response honors who they want to be. This type of answer reveals emotional wisdom, a balanced mind, a grounded heart, and a soul that chooses clarity over chaos. A person's answer shows you how they will behave you when things get hard, not during the easy moments where everything flows, but during the moment their emotions are screaming one thing and their values whisper another. Think about what this reveals. If someone gets angry, do they react or reflect? If someone feels tempted, do they stay loyal or follow desire? If someone feels insecure, do they choose honesty or manipulation? If someone feels scared, do they retreat or stay steady? These choices shape everything. Friendships, relationships, trust, consistency, stability. You deserve to know whether someone chooses temporary comfort of emotion or the long-term strength of principle. This question also reveals something deeper: how someone treats themselves when they're conflicted. A mind that attacks itself becomes unpredictable. A mind that understands itself becomes trustworthy. Some people will tell you they blame themselves for feeling conflicted. This is a person who is hard on themselves, someone who may carry guilt even when it isn't needed. Others will tell you they negotiate with themselves, seeking the path that aligns with their values while respecting their emotions. This is the sign of someone who grows instead of breaks. And then there are those who say they don't know, which might mean they've never looked inside long enough to understand themselves. This isn't a red flag on its own, but it tells you how much self-discovery they still have ahead of them. Stoicism teaches that the strongest person is not the one who never feels conflict, but the one who chooses virtue even when conflict is loud. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This question reveals whether someone lives by that simple but powerful compass. Their answer will show you. Are they driven by emotional weather or by the steady ground of their inner principles? You learn how safe they are, how consistent they can be, how deeply they understand themselves, how they will treat you, not just when things feel good, but when they feel complicated. And if you want to understand someone's mind, you must understand how they navigate their storms. Reflect on your values and the choices you make every day. Commit to your path and share it now in the comments. My values guide me. Question 3. When life hurts you, what do you learn about yourself? This question reaches deeper than pain. It reaches into identity, into who a person believes they are when life stops being gentle. Most people talk about what happened to them, but few can talk about what those moments taught them. When you ask someone, when life hurts you, what do you learn about yourself? You're giving them a mirror most people avoid, a mirror that reveals whether they grow from pain or surrender to it. Pain is not the teacher people think it is. Pain doesn't teach anything by itself. Reflection teaches, honesty teaches, awareness teaches, and some people never pause long enough to learn. This question exposes a person's inner philosophy, how they interpret their struggles, how they frame their failures, how they understand the wounds she carry. Stoics believed pain was not an enemy. It was a messenger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." Pain shows us what needs strength, what needs healing, what needs courage, what needs change. But not everyone sees it that way. Some people will say pain taught them not to trust anyone that tells you they carry walls, not wisdom. They may protect you, but they may also push you away. Some will say pain taught them to expect the worst. This shows fear shaping their vision, a worldview built on survival instead of hope. Some will say pain taught them nothing. This reveals emotional avoidance, a mind that shuts down instead of opening. And then there are people who say pain taught them resilience, patience, or clarity. These are the ones who grow. These are the ones who become steady, grounded, emotionally present, not perfect, beauty-aware. This simple question shows you whether someone collapses under life's weight or rises from it with new understanding. It shows whether they see themselves as a victim or as a participant in their own story. A person who learns from pain becomes attentive, reflective. They communicate instead of react. They heal instead of hide. They understand that hurt can shape them without defining them. But a person who refuses to learn from pain becomes unpredictable. Their emotions run without direction. Their reactions become louder than their intentions. Their wounds speak for them, and they don't even realize it. You're not just listening for their answer. You're listening for their worldview, how they see themselves, how they see other people, how they see life when it strips away comfort. Some will speak with heaviness, a sign they still carry pain unprocessed. Some will speak with clarity, a sign they've turned wounds into wisdom. Some will speak with confusion, a sign they've never questioned their patterns. Each response reveals the emotional roadmap that guides their decisions, their relationships, their trust, and their actions. This question also reveals whether someone practices self-examination, a key teaching in Stoicism. Seneca said, "The mind that examines itself is strengthened." A person who reflects becomes emotionally strong. A person who avoids becomes emotionally fragile. And you deserve to know which one stands in front of you. If they learn they shut down when life gets hard, you'll know they need patience. If they learn they become cold, you'll know they protect themselves through distance. If they learn they become angry, you'll know they battle inner storms. If they learn they become wiser, you'll know you're speaking to someone who grows instead of breaks. Understanding their answer doesn't give you control over them. It gives you insight, the kind that protects your heart and guides your choices. Because how a person responds to pain is how they respond to love, how they respond to responsibility, how they respond to conflict, how they respond to you. And you deserve to be surrounded by people who face their pain with honesty, not people who let their pain speak for them. This question doesn't just reveal their past, it reveals their trajectory, the direction their life is moving. Are they healing forward or hurting forward? And once you know that, you will understand their mind more clearly than they ever realize. Remember that every challenge shapes your strength. Acknowledge it, embrace it, and declare it in the comments. Now I grow stronger. Question 4. What promise do you always keep to yourself? A person's mind becomes clear when you understand the promises they refuse to break, not the promises they make to others. Those are easy to say and easy to abandon, but the quiet promises they make to themselves, the ones they keep when no one is watching, the ones that reveal who they truly are beneath every mask and every moment of performance. When you ask someone, "What promise do you always keep to yourself?" you're asking about the foundation of their character. You are asking what they stand on when life shakes them. You're asking what remains when everything else falls apart. Because a person who keeps no promises to themselves cannot keep promises to you. A person who breaks their own word will break anyone's word. A person who betrays themselves will eventually betray your trust too. Character begins with self-loyalty, and Stoicism teaches that integrity is born from within. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That is a promise, a commitment to your own becoming. Some people will answer this question easily. Some will struggle. Some will avoid it completely. And each response reveals a truth deeper than their words. Listen carefully. Some will say they keep the promise to never give up on themselves. That shows inner resilience, a strong mind built on faith and determination. Some will say they promise to treat people with kindness. This reveals a heart that values compassion even when the world feels heavy. Some will say they promise to never go back to the person they used to be. This shows growth, a desire to rise, a refusal to repeat painful patterns. Some will say they don't make promises to themselves. This reveals a lack of inner structure, a wandering identity, a life without direction, a person living more in reaction than intention. And then there are those who say they break their promises to themselves often. Fatten's word tells you they need healing, not judgment. It shows a mind searching for discipline, a heart that wants better, but hasn't yet built the tools to stay consistent. This question digs into the core of someone's self-respect. Because to promise yourself something is to believe you are worth keeping that promise for. And some people simply didn't feel worthy yet. When someone shares their answer, notice what they talk about. Do they talk about habits? Do they talk about boundaries? Do they talk about values? Do they talk about survival? Do they talk about dreams? Each path reveals a piece of their mindset. If their promise is rooted in pain, they're still healing. If their promise is rooted in fear, they're still protecting themselves. If their promise is rooted in growth, they're rising. If their promise is rooted in purpose, you're speaking to someone with an inner compass. This question also shows you their future, not by predicting it, but by showing you how they walk into it. A person who keeps their inner promises builds discipline. Discipline builds stability. Stability builds trust. Trust builds a life that doesn't collapse under pressure. A person who constantly breaks their promises to themselves lives in emotional debt, behind on their healing, behind on their growth, behind on the relationship they want with themselves. And if they are behind with themselves, they will be behind with you too. But do not judge their answer harshly. This question is not a test. It is a window. It shows whether you are dealing with someone who honors their word or someone who is still learning how to. Stoicism reminds us that the greatest strength is the alignment between what you say and what you do. Marcus Aurelius believed a person's worth is measured by the worth of what they pursue. And what someone promises themselves reveals what they pursue in the quiet moments of life. Pay attention, because when someone tells you what they always keep, they are telling you their identity, their loyalty, their direction, their truth. And when someone tells you they keep nothing, they are telling you they are still searching for themselves. Honor yourself by keeping promises only you can make. Take a moment to commit to this truth and post it below. I keep my promises. Question 5. What kind of peace are you trying to build? This question reaches the deepest part of someone's mind, not their past, not their pain, not their habits, but their direction, their vision, their inner destination. When you ask someone, what kind of peace are you trying to build? You're risking them to reveal the architecture of their soul, because every person is building a different kind of peace. Some build peace made of silence. Some build peace made of stability. Some build peace made of freedom. Some build peace made of distance. Some build peace made of connection. And some don't know what they're building at all, so they create a choice without meaning to. Peace is not the same for everyone. For any person, peace means letting go of old memories. For another, peace means creating structure in life. For another, peace means finding people who make them feel safe. For another, peace means learning to trust themselves. Again, this question reveals their heart's blueprint, what they need, what they value, and what they're willing to work toward. Stoicism teaches that true peace does not come from the world. It comes from inner order. Seneca wrote, "No person can have a peaceful life who thinks too much about length rather than depth." Peace is not how long life feels good. Peace is how deeply it feels right. Listen carefully to how someone answers this question. Some people will say they just want quiet. This reveals emotional exhaustion. A person who has been overwhelmed by noise, chaos, or people who demanded too much. Some will say they want stability. This shows someone who longs for consistency. Someone who has walked through unpredictable experiences. Some will say they want freedom. This reveals a heart that felt trapped, a mind that wants to stretch without being judged. Some will say they want peace with themselves. This shows someone who carries inner conflict and is trying to heal their relationship with their own reflection. And some will say they don't know. This reveals a mind still searching, a heart that hasn't yet found its direction. A person who needs time, not pressure. Whatever they say, their answer matters. Because when you know what kind of peace someone is building, you know whether your presence supports that peace or disturbs it. You know whether your lifestyle aligns with theirs. You know whether you can walk together without stepping on each other's balance. This question also reveals emotional maturity. A person who knows the peace they want has done inner work. They have reflected, processed, evaluated, and chosen a direction for their life. But a person who avoids the question often avoids themselves. Someone who says they want peace through control may struggle with insecurity. Someone who says they want peace through isolation may still be healing from betrayal. Someone who says they want peace through change may be ready for growth. Someone who says they want peace through honesty may have lived too long in silence. Their definition of peace tells you how they will handle relationships, conflict, loyalty, growth, and life. If their peace requires distance, they will pull away often. If their peace requires growth, they will challenge themselves and you. If their peace requires honesty, they will speak openly rather than hide feelings. If their peace requires safety, they will protect their heart carefully. And if their peace requires self-respect, they will not tolerate behaviors that break their inner balance. This question doesn't just reveal their present, it reveals who they want to become. It shows whether they are building their life with intention or drifting through it unconsciously. It shows whether they are creating a future where love can grow, where trust can breathe, where emotional storms can quiet down, where connection can deepen without fear, and peace is the foundation of all of that. Because without peace, a person cannot love clearly, cannot think clearly, cannot live clearly. Stoicism teaches that inner peace is the greatest wealth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "No where can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." When someone tells you what peace they're building, you see whether their soul is seeking refuge or creating it. Their answer will show you whether your presence belongs in their life, or whether your paths are meant to diverge, Visualize your inner peace, the calm that protects you from chaos. Claim it openly and type it in the comments now. I build my peace. You now hold 5 questions that can open the human mind without force. 5 questions that reveal truth without pressure. 5 questions that show who a person truly is beneath their practiced answers and polished surface. These questions aren't about judging anyone. They're about understanding them, seeing them, hearing the parts of their story that rarely reach the world. Because real connection, real trust, comes from clarity, not confusion. Stoicism teaches that the more we understand others, the less chaos we invite into our own lives. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can show me that what I think or do is not right, I will gladly change." This is the heart of wisdom, openness, awareness, and the courage to see truth as it is. When you ask these 5 questions, you learn how someone carries their pain, how they hold their principles, how they honor themselves, how they navigate conflict within their mind, and what kind of peace they're trying to build. You learn their direction and whether your direction matches theirs. You learn their emotional language and whether you can speak it. You learn their depth and whether they can walk with you through yours. Understanding someone's mind is not about control. It's about alignment. It's about knowing who belongs in your story and who belongs only in your lessons. Carry these questions with care. Use them with intention and let them guide you to people who speak with honesty, love with clarity, and walk with the same steadiness you're trying to build within yourself. Think about the people in your life and the energy you allow around you. Commit to attracting engagement, growth, and truth and share it below. I attract the right people. And if this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps this wisdom reach those who need it most.